Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and I have a diamond in the rough I'd like you guys to meet today. This is Devin Hembry. He is a cornerback out of North Dakota. Nice to meet you, sir.
Hey, nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, no problem. I felt like people need to get to know you. I mean, pretty decent sized corner. Playing in one of the toughest conferences. So I mean, you figure this guy's got one over on a couple of really good prospects. So I mean, hey, he's a pretty good prospect in his own right. So I figured, what the hell, right?
Yeah,
Um,
appreciate
but
that.
yeah, man, Devin, introduce yourself and we'll get going.
Yeah, my name is Devin Hembry. I'm from Muskogee, Oklahoma. I'm 23 years old. Attended JUCO Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, and continued on to go to the University of North Dakota.
Cool, kind of set the stage there for us, of course. I mean, so I mean, again, Oklahoma kid did some JUCO, and then obviously there at North Dakota Fighting Hawks. But before we kind of get through some of this story, I want to go back to the very beginning. How long have you been playing football?
Yeah, I've been playing football since about like the first grade. Yeah, it's been a long time.
So, when you were playing in first grade, I mean, uh, talk a little bit about it for you because I mean, I know at least when you were in high school, you played a lot of running back, but talk a little bit about like that whole history about you maybe playing all over.
Okay, so for the history, like since I was like playing since the first grade, and I would play a lot of like Pee Wee League over at Hilldale, and I would just use a lot of like as a young kid, I could just remember they would always line me up in the slot like a little slot receiver, and I would get a lot of jet sweeps. Like most of the time, it was always going to be a jet sweep. I was coming across on motion, handing it to me, and then I just try to get the outside and I run everybody. Because as a kid, I usually was faster than most kids on the field at the time, and it was just hey, get him both to the outside and let him run. So that was up until about like I would say up to high school for real. Like honestly, just get Dev a jet sweep or find him to the outside on a toss of some sort and let him run. Just let him run.
So, again, standout running back in high school. You're running. You're mostly a running back, but I mean, of course, obviously, I introduced you as a corner. And so, talk to me a little bit about this transition where obviously we know you now as a defensive player. Can you walk me through that a little bit?
Okay, so I would say what was it, about like my middle school years during Hilldale. I was playing running back a lot during those times. So we got to high school. They continued to leave me at running back, and then they would use me a little bit at receiver whenever we needed to stretch the field a little bit. So I don't know. Just after about my junior year, we had a good running back ahead of me named Mikey Winston, and he had ended up leaving. And then so they was like, well, let's just revert Henry back to a full time running back because during like my freshman and sophomore year and a little bit those years, like I was mainly used as like a receiver and just like a special teams guy and would do things like that. And then occasionally you might catch me in there like on a trick play or something at running back. But then junior year, it was like me and Mikey started splitting running backs. And then they were just like, okay, him both play running back in middle school. Let's put him back at running back during senior year. And so they just transitioned me to that. And then eventually coming out of high school is whenever I was getting like a couple offers from different Division II levels, JUCOs, and places like that. Whenever I would take my visits and stuff, all the schools were mainly like, "Yeah, you're going to be a good athlete, but I think we see you playing corner a lot." So like when I was in high school, like my senior year, I had to start coming to the realization like maybe I'm not going to play running back in high school. I mean college, or if I get that chance, like I'm not going to probably play because like everywhere then like was almost like, "Hey, you're a lengthy guy. I know you like running back. I know you enjoy it, but like you gotta look at your size one day, guy. Like you got long arms. Like you're gonna have to play DB. That's how everybody kept telling me. You're gonna have to play DB eventually. And I'm like, ah. So
So,
over time,
no, no, it's okay. We'll get there. Again, we have a guy who is lengthy with long arms, and really the idea from a lot of guys at the collegiate level, uh, they're just saying, you know what, we're probably going to utilize you best on the outside as a corner, mainly because of your size. I mean, matching up against you know, opponents in that facet. Again, probably having more of like a lengthy wide receiver esque body. But because of your size, I mean, it helps to have a guy like you really playing corner. I think that that really separates you as an athlete, you know.
Hmm.
Um, but let's talk a little bit more about this. I mean, obviously, we'll get to some of what you were able to do over your career. So let's start at Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, which is where you went to JUCO. So talk a little bit about your time there.
Oh yeah, when I first came into JUCO, it was a real awakening moment. I remember we was outside and we were doing our summer conditioning, and we had like 100, like over 100 guys. And I just remember coach was like, "Yeah, we're gonna be out here running until we have so many drop." And I'm like, I've never experienced that before because in high school we didn't do that. I'm like, "No, he's not serious." And it's summer day in Oklahoma. And it's pretty hot in Oklahoma during the summers, so it's got to be like almost 100 degrees probably. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna run till this number drops." I'm like, "Yo, this is JUCO. This is really JUCO." And so after that moment, I was like, yeah, it's really like they say, like it's dog eat dog world kind of. You kind of just gotta grind it out. It's a lot of grinding days. If you want to make it to the next level or have a chance of getting out of there, then you just gotta kind of stay focused and know that you're there for ball and just get through the school and just to lock in because every day you can see like you're like people, a lot of people I see coming, you can see them leaving like the same day. Like I watched a lot of guys leave just because like they weren't tough enough to make it through the workouts, and I was like, yo, that's a realization. I was like, in JUCO, guys come and go for real.
Yeah, I mean, I think JUCO really it separates the men from the boys. It really tests your will and just true desire as to whether or not you truly want this. You know, they put everybody out there, and they say, yeah, if you really want it, you're gonna stick around, man. Don't be passing out, don't be dropping, don't be quitting. They don't want any quitters.
No,
So it is a true grind to go through the JUCO process. But I mean, a lot of great athletes do, go through the JUCO ranks. I mean, anybody during your time there that maybe perhaps you bumped into?
yeah, I bumped into a lot of good guys during the time. Like a lot of guys I stayed in contact with and even still talk to this day. I was just recently on the phone with a couple of guys. So a lot of guys I know that left and went off to good places. It's like be like Kobe Hilton, Kendall Doby. Both of them guys are at OSU and OU. And then I also ran into like Iman Oates, he's also at OSU. Just a lot of Oklahoma guys I was recently there with was Oklahoma kids who eventually went off and still stayed around at Oklahoma or had a lot of good chances. So I was like, I met a lot of good DBs too. Like a lot of good guys I played DBs with during my years, 2 years I was there. We all end up leaving and having a good chance to go play ball somewhere else. So that's always a blessing.
Good. So you're at NEO A&M, and obviously you put yourself in a good position to move on, get some Division I offers. Was perhaps were there other universities that had given you some offers out of there other than North Dakota, or what?
Yeah, North Dakota was one, and a couple others was like University of Incarnate Word and SEMO, Southeastern Missouri. Those are about two other offers. I had a couple other schools like on the teeter, kind of just talking with me, but none of them really pulled the trigger. So like I think it was really those three was my main three, and then the other one would be like a like Division II offers.
So, I mean, you're there at North Dakota. They're the guys who really took the chance on you. Talk about that school a little bit. I mean, obviously, you get there, you finish your degree there, you spend a lot of time there. So, talk up the school just a little bit if you don't mind.
To talk about the school, so whenever you're coming from Oklahoma, you have two big programs enriched in history, like OU and OSU. So then you're going up there and you're not really understanding, like, okay, yeah, like FCS is the only division level they have up there. So like, I didn't know like what the community was going to be like, or like just what the community was going to hold. And they actually like have so much support up there because that's the only level they have. So that's like their FBS programs. So like they go crazy, like the schools go crazy. The games are always packed out, and especially coming from JUCO, whenever like you don't have that many fans, and you come to like a packed out game, you're like, well, you're in North Dakota, and you got 12,000, 14,000. You never been around that many people in the stands before, and then the stadium's loud and it's all in the dome. So I was like, it was definitely it was a change in environment for sure. It was a good change.
Well, I mean, sometimes when you're in a college town, it almost is kind of like a default pro team, where like the whole town is on board, the whole town comes in to, obviously support the local team. So
Hmm.
it's definitely a fun experience. And North Dakota really playing against some great competition. Um, Missouri Valley Conference guys. And so it is not easy for people that might want to maybe throw a little shade on these FCS teams. Yeah, there's some brutal opponents in your conference, and good thing is that you do get the better of them every so often too. So I mean, it's nice to
Hmm.
be able to pat yourself on the back, of course, getting those
Definitely.
moments. Um, Talk about y'all's defense, if you don't mind. Maybe some of the guys around you, and just kind of how you were utilized, of course.
I would say, yeah, I had a bunch of good guys that welcomed me in whenever I came into the program. Like early guys when I came in would be like Caden Coppinen, CJ Siegel, Devin Stranowski during those times, and all those guys just definitely like came in and just made me feel comfortable. And even up until like last year, whenever we still had CJ and KK, those are like two of the older DBs that definitely made me feel comfortable when I came in. Sammy, uh, yeah, and my other roommate Marcus Vaughn at the time, they just all made me feel comfortable. So as a defense, I felt like they were definitely just good guys. Always make sure we had each other's back, looked after each other each time. And I was utilized during the defense. Like my first year I was up there, I was utilized a little bit, not so much because I had a couple other guys that were used a little bit more than me. So they would bring me in kind of like whenever we needed like a nickel package. And that's how I was used even last year. But I started using that a little bit more as we got a little bit more of a groove with our nickel package and they seen I understood the defense a little bit better. So we started using a little bit three corners, a little bit more on the field between me and the other two, CJ and Edmund at the time. And then as this year, as you see, I became a full time starter. So I was just on the field the entire season.
So, how do you see yourself maybe transitioning to the next level? Do you see yourself as a guy who could play multiple positions there in that secondary?
I definitely feel if it was necessary and needed, I definitely could feel like I could play multiple positions from the nickel position or star to the outside corner, boundary corner, field corner. I feel comfortable in in both those positions as well, and even could even learn safety as well. I don't. It just depends on which playbook. Just hand it to me and let me learn it.
Well, I mean, we are certainly looking at a guy who has a size and athleticism that, if asked to, could do a whole lot of things. And the one other thing, of course, is obviously they're going to want to put you on special teams like out the gate. So, talk to me about your overall experience on special teams, and maybe even your favorite position on special teams.
Okay, so my first year coming in, I played a lot of kickoff and punt block. So I was used on as like a gunner, holding up the gunners on the outside a lot during my first year. Or on kickoff, I was used as like the overcap on top of the kickoff team, just making sure that nothing broke outside. So I would contend the top of the kickoff. And during those times, I mean, I enjoy playing special teams. I have no problem with playing special teams at all. And then it just seems like as the course of my years went on, coach would just tell me he was like, we have a lot of younger guys that can be used like this year. So he was like, we're just going to mainly use you as corner up until we need you, which I was still back up on our punt team and our kickoff team. I was still twos on that just in case they would needed me. Still in the same position as cap and punt. So there's not a special team that I enjoy more than the other one. All special teams are still valuable. So I don't enjoy one more than the other.
No, hey, that's fine. Obviously, that's the attitude that we want, of course. Um, and like you said, I mean, as younger guys are coming into the program, I mean, typically like the more established players, they kind of get phased out of special teams, at least somewhat, because I mean, if I really need you to lock down a guy like the starting, wide receiver, like I don't want you getting dinged up at all in special teams, man. Like that's just kind of how things go. So, um, Devin, been hyping you up a little bit because I mean, I feel like, you do have some good size to you. Other than that, what do you feel maybe helps you as a prospect? Maybe even tell me something that you feel people are sleeping on when it comes to your game.
Ah, I don't really know if people are sleeping on it. I think because even my teammates know this is like that coming from that JUCO, that Norseman tradition. Just playing press. I love playing press. That's my favorite part of my game is just getting down in somebody's face and just being able to put my hands on them quick. It's just something about it, when you can just touch somebody quick and take them out of the play early. That's like, it's a great feeling, and especially whenever you can see the quarterback has to look the other way at the end of the route, and he's just like, yeah, like this, you just eliminated this whole guy. It's like it's a great feeling. So I would say that's my favorite part of my game. Sleeping on me, I don't know whatever you're sleeping on. I guess you can go find out. We can wake you up.
Well, how sometimes it's speed, sometimes it's tackling ability, like
Okay.
I feel like some people like when they look at corners, they're like, this guy can't tackle. Like, what do you
It's
feel?
say I would say that it could probably be my tackling because there's not too many times I was put into position to tackle, but even then it was like sometimes on films even if you look like I shoot my gun. So I was like, I'm not scared to tackle, but I don't tackle. It's not too many times we really have to tackle with our defense.
Well, I mean, for what it's worth, Devin, I checked up on the PFF numbers, and according to those guys, you're a pretty efficient tackler. Hey, at least the stats are in your favor. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Obviously, tackling very well doesn't let guys go once he gets his hands on them. I mean, obviously, you're not put in that position too much. Hey, it's just nice to be able to wrap your arms around a guy and take him down. Um, nice. Uh, we talked a little bit about your teammates there. As you were coming in, a lot of people really helping you, get established, get comfortable there at North Dakota. But I'm sure there's a lot of other people along the way that have really influenced you, whether it be coaches or people outside of football. Who is that for you, man? Who has been the most, I guess, support or influential people for you in your athletic journey?
Most influential people in my athletic journey. I would say I've had a bunch of people during my high school days. It was definitely my coach, Coach Ryan Keenum. He was one person I definitely looked up to. We always were talking if it wasn't from football to because he was also our track coach during the time. We was always doing like talking during track as well. So I definitely looked up to him during high school times. And then when I got into JUCO, another guy I stayed really good in contact with was my DC coach, Corey Sullivan. So even up until a couple of years at UND, almost every year I would still call him and talk to him, even whenever I was struggling or having troubles in learning the defense or whatever, or just talking to him. Like he would just talk to me, telling me to keep, level head, see it through, and just stay with it and different things like that. We had our different discussions, and so I would say those two guys during my athletic journey from high school to college have definitely been probably the most two impactful guys.
Nice. And so obviously, let's talk a little bit more about your time there at North Dakota. I was looking at what you guys were able to accomplish this season. Maybe not exactly how you wanted it to pan out, of course. And as we had mentioned, super competitive conference, obviously, where you're facing guys that are in the, top 25 regularly there for, and it is what it is. But the good thing is you guys did get a really good win against Montana. And so they were very highly ranked, and you had a lot of other good wins as well. Talk about the highs and lows of this season and what you got out of it the most.
I'd say definitely the highs were definitely the highs, as you say. Like Montana was a great win. We were hyped, stoked, first home game of the season as well, and it was just a very intense game. And then the lows were definitely just the lows. And it just, I say, it taught you at the time, like, when things were flowing, we got to stay steady, Felt like at times we probably like lost focus a little bit or even shifted focus whenever you take a loss or two. That maybe, okay, you didn't plan it to go out that way, but you got to be able to dial back in and, refocus and get ready for the next one. I feel like sometimes maybe we didn't get really truly ready for the next game. And maybe that came back to bite us in the end. So I would say just learning to, shake back and get back focused faster, get ready for the next one.
Yeah, and as a corner, dude, let's be real, you do need to have that mentality because
Yeah.
even though you're a corner, you love being able to shut down a guy, you're not going to be able to do it 100% of the time. And so you got to be able to say, you know what, you get the one and it's okay. I'll move on. I'll get you next time. And that's kind
Hmm.
of like the mentality that you have to have as a corner, anyways, of course. So hey, it works out for you, I believe. Um, uh, as you said, you know, rough season, but you guys put in maximum effort. You left it all on the table. And you yourself having some good moments, of course. Talk me through maybe your favorite personal highlight. Maybe if it was a game or play or something. Can you walk me through one of those moments?
Yeah, definitely. I'll say definitely. I think most people know my favorite highlight from this season was definitely my pick six I had at Idaho State, and it's just like it was kind of in a time of the game where we kind of needed it. We didn't want them to score, get no momentum, to try to tie the game back up, make them feel like they could stay in the game with us. We wanted to try to put them away early. So just to have that pick and that towards the goal line and take it all the way like that at 92 yards, you just hear the crowd start roaring and stuff. It was just so much. I defaulted at the end. I didn't even have a celebration. Everybody was like, "Why ain't you dancing?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was just I had too much emotion. I didn't know what to do." So that was definitely one of my favorite highlights from this season.
Were you out of breath, maybe?
Slightly.
Well, I mean, when you're running like the full length of the damn field, I mean, sometimes like, it's natural, it's fine.
No, to be honest, I was running so hard that I almost slipped a little bit, and I don't know if anybody really tell, but I almost slipped because I was running so hard, thinking like, man, you better not get caught. Because I was like, I can only think about so many people was gonna be like, I had a couple teams that I had in mind that was gonna be on my head if I would have got caught.
Well, good thing is you weren't. So kudos for you for holding it together and obviously getting that pick six. Um, Devin, do want to meet the guy outside of football and spend a couple minutes really talking about just you. So, anything else about you that you feel people need to know, whether it be fun facts, hobbies, interests, or special talents, anything that you want to share about yourself?
I would just say I'm the youngest of three. Yeah, I got an older brother and an older sister. One of them is 30. The other one is nope. One of them is 32. The other one is 29. Nope. Yeah, 30 and 32. Well, they're gonna get me if they see this when they see this. But yeah, so I'm the youngest of three. I have a daughter of 7 months as well, a beautiful baby girl. Her name's Leilani.
Nice.
Um, my hobbies as well. I love to go fishing. I just picked up on boat fishing over the summer. My friend Bryce, yeah, he got me to buy a boat finally, and we've been going boat fishing a lot. I can't wait till it warms up a little bit to where I can go do it again. And so that's one of my favorite recently. And then another great hobby of mine is anybody knows that I love to play video games, and anybody can get it on the sticks. I love to beat everybody. NCAA, 2K, Call of Duty, whatever anybody wants to play.
So your game for any of those things. That's cool. Um, from Muskogee, Oklahoma. Um, wanted to see if you could talk a little bit about your hometown. Talk about your hometown for people. I don't know. I'm assuming I don't know where you're at right now. Are you currently at home? Or are you still in school? What can you talk about your hometown?
Yeah, no, I just traveled back home recently, so I'm back home in Muskogee, and so my hometown is honestly it's kind of I would say it's decently sized. There's about 40,000 people in it. It's kind of a small town. It's not too. It's pretty close to Tulsa. I think we're about 30, 40 minutes away from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So,
All right,
you can go up there and do some things if you want to. So I say we're a pretty small town, but it's not too bad here.
cool. A couple of just fun questions. Favorite home cooked meal?
Favorite home cooked meal is my granny's chicken spaghetti. Mm,
Chicken spaghetti. Okay,
yeah.
that's definitely an interesting one. Um, do you have a favorite music artist?
Yeah. My favorite music artist is J. Cole.
All right, that's solid. How about favorite superhero?
Superhero. My favorite superhero is definitely the Flash.
Nice. You feel like you try to I don't know, put the lightning bolt on your chest, like maybe when you're going out there. I mean, it would be kind of fun to kind of have that moment. You know how
And just
people like
bring
do
it
the
out.
thing with the Superman pose. Do that with the like the Flash.
No, yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Anyway, um, uh, one more silly question, and then we'll wrap things up. So, um, favorite snack food?
Favorite snack food. I'm a big on like gummies and so I would say Gushers. Gushers is like my favorite snack for real.
All right, that's a good one. Devin's been fun. Just kind of sitting with you and chit-chatting about whether it be gushers or some of your favorite things here and there, and obviously learning more about you as a player. But I mean, of course, you want to try your best to get noticed, get some eyes on you, and hopefully one of these scouts will fall in love with you and give you an opportunity. So as we wrap things up, look at the camera and just kind of speak directly to those scouts and tell them what you'd bring to the table if they took a chance on you. Go for it.
I would honestly say what I bring to the table is I'm a guy who's willing to work, whether it be from special teams to defense or whatever you just need me to do. I don't have anything like I'm not selfish or anything like that. I'm willing to put the team before me. I have before, and that's something that I've learned over my time, definitely at North Dakota as well. But I'm just willing to come in and work. Honestly, just do what needs to be done. I just want to just need opportunity and just do whatever needs to be done. Honestly, I bring a lot to the table with my size, my strengths. I feel like I'm a pretty strong corner for my size. I'm willing to take on blocks, tackle as well as it needs to be done. Honestly, just take on whatever responsibility you need me to do.
Yeah, I mean, the things that I put in my notes is obviously, as we had mentioned, I mean, a guy with good quality size, some great explosion, and the ability to really be put in anyone's secondary anywhere, like depending on like what is needed. And it's a guy like you that has the ability to stick around, because they can utilize you in a lot of different ways. So. Um, Devin, best of luck with what you got going on right now. And you take care, okay?
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, buddy. Once again, I got with me Devin Hembry. He is a cornerback out of North Dakota. Check him out.
All right, thank you. Take care.